Hey, today I'm talking about stalker thoughts. I'm Jen. I'm an empowerment life coach, and one of the things I do is I teach people what to do with reoccurring negative thoughts. You know, the ones that just stalk you and just keep coming up over and over and over again, and they're just not helpful. They don't serve you at all. In fact, they kind of make you feel terrible. They're the thoughts like I'm not good enough, or you're fat, or you others just can't stand you. They don't like you and they should, or you just can't do that. These kinds of thoughts just they're not productive, but there's a really good reason that we have them. And at this point, once we start to notice them, our next step is often to start resisting them. Like, I'm not going to think that. Every time I hear that thought, I'm going to push it away. But the problem is that what we resist persists, and we are giving energy. We're pushing energy into that negative thought and giving it more strength when we're trying to just push it away. Now, our primal brain, it wants to keep us safe. And if it had its way, it would keep us in a hole where we could never experience rejection or disappointment, because an emotional threat is equally like, it sees it as just as harmful as a lion chasing us. And so it'll try to avoid it. And it's thinking, if I can keep you away from the possibility of disappointment or rejection, then everything's going to be okay. You'll be safe. But the problem is that we're often cutting ourselves off from deep connection and cutting ourselves off from our dreams and opportunities and of being ourselves. And we find ourselves hiding. And what it does is that it produces this drive for us to hide. It produces a drive and often creates actions for us, like it wants us to do something over and over and over, like worry or eat so that we don't feel this, or think the same thought over and over and over. You're just not doing it right. They're not going to like you. Don't try that. And in our brains, the brain's like, yeah, so worry, eat, check your phone, check your Facebook regularly. That'll fix it. And if you're really mindful, what you'll notice is that after you do it, like say you've got this compulsion, this thought, check Facebook, see if they like you, see how much they like you. This'll fix it. You do get just a tiny little momentary relief from that drive, but then it just starts back up over again. So I'm going to give you 5 steps of what to do if you find you have a stalker thought. The first thing is to turn and look at it. Shine the flashlight on it. I see you. Okay, here comes my thought. My thought that says I'm not good enough. The thought that says you're going to get fat, or you're ugly, or they don't like you. The brain is telling me that it's very important to think these things over and over and over again so that I don't get rejected, or I don't have hope and try something that I might fail at. So when we recognize it, we can just say, hey, there's that thought. Now, at this point, a lot of times we start thinking, oh my gosh, I'm a terrible person. Look at these thoughts. Look what I think about myself. I have terrible thoughts about myself. And then we add another cycle of frustration and disappointment and anxiety on top of it, thinking that something's gone wrong because our brain is thinking these negative thoughts. But when we're being aware, we're trying to do it without judgment. One of the ways that I teach how to do this with some of my clients is we talk about what it's like to weed. When we go out in our garden, like every Saturday used to be my weeding day, because I knew that there would be weeds there every week. Even though I pulled them up the last week, they're going to come back. I don't take it personally. I don't make it mean something about myself that I'm the type of person that gets weeds in their garden every single week. I'm a terrible person. I just think, okay, that's what weeds do. They just keep growing. So one of the ways we can notice these thoughts without making it mean something terrible about us and adding to the spirals is say, that's just what the brain does. It's trying to keep me safe, of course. But I just need to weed these out regularly. I need to pay attention to them regularly because that's just what we do. I'm going to weed my brain. And it's not going to mean that I'm terrible for having the thoughts in the first place. The second thing we can do is allow the feelings. Now, I talked about the energy behind the drive that comes. It makes the things feel urgent and necessary and very important. It's saying it's very important right now to eat something that's off my protocol, or it's very important to think this thought over and over and over and over. And this is where we just get comfortable feeling an uncomfortable urge without reacting to it. We can allow that feeling to stay inside our body without responding to it and just tell ourselves, remind ourselves, this is just a thought error. The brain thinks it's important. So the next step, step number 3, is to teach the brain a new way. When we notice these thought errors, we can say, oh, brain, I see. I see that you're bringing about the thought, I'm not good enough. But we're going to do something different. We're going to start thinking new things. We're going to start believing that actually whatever I do is enough and that I am enough. And we're just going to be working that. And I know it feels important to go check my Facebook, but we're going to be okay with it. We're going to sit here and we're going to continue reading or whatever we were doing our work. The fourth step is to use the energy that comes behind that drive energy that I've got to do something. This is important. This is critical. It brings energy to it because it's trying to get us and push us to take action. The action isn't usually effective. We're going to move away from that and intentionally use that energy to do something productive, like clean. We do our best cleaning, right? When we're feeling frustrated. Take the energy, use it. And then the fifth step is to let it go. Let it pass by. It's all right if you move on. It's even all right if you stay. We're just not going to be feeding that thought today. We're going to be weeding thoughts and planting new ones. And that's totally fine. Now, the thing about the worrying and the repetitive thoughts is that there just usually is not an upside. We create a lot of suffering, and you don't have to do that. You get to feel relaxed. You can feel calm. You can feel safe in your own skin, no matter what's going on outside of you. If you feel like you want to fast track to that, get a coach. I'm a coach. I can help you. I can help you with those thoughts that keep returning. And later on this week, I'm going to share some personal experiences that I've had working through this and some more techniques about how to deal with repetitive stalker thoughts.